roll up, for the chance to ride what must be one of the juiciest gravy trains ever. You'll enjoy a six-figure salary, expenses beyond the dreams of the whizziest of city whiz kids, or even Karan, and in some instances, free accommodation. You'll only ever fly first or business class, travel by limousine, and stay in the world's finest hotels. And you won't pay. Oh, have I mentioned? Judging by league tables, you don't even have to be any damn good at your job. Such is the lifestyle enjoyed by scores of university vice-chancellors. Now, paying big bucks to the bosses of universities such as Oxford and Cambridge, that makes sense. I get that. They're globally renowned institutions. But many of the others are locked in the performance table's relegation zone. All this funded by our children forking out nearly £10,000 a year in fees. Well, you don't need a university degree to work out that this well-remunerated lunacy needs to stop.
Wow. This has become a huge issue.
Doing my best, Karen, yes, I'm doing it.
Particularly, my colleague Lord Adonis has been...
Yes.
He's got a bee in his bonnet about this. And you can understand where people say they're earning a lot of money. Well, let's put it in perspective. A university vice-chancellor of a leading Russell Group university, for example, you've got tens of thousands of students, sometimes over 30,000 students. You've got thousands of staff. You've got a turnover, in many cases, approaching £1 billion. In the case of Oxford and Cambridge, billions of pounds.
I'll give you those two.
You've got infrastructure projects running into hundreds of millions of pounds. Huge responsibilities. And then you're told you're getting paid too much. And these are not public sector institutions. I mean, in the case of Oxford or Cambridge, less than a quarter of their funds come from the government. Even the pension scheme is not a government pension scheme. That's also become a big topic. So you put it all into context, and I compared with a FTSE 100 chief executive who gets paid, on average, 10 times what a university vice-chancellor gets paid.
Or a radio
and I think we want our universities to be the best in the world along with the United States of America, which they are, and I'm proud of that. Well, we've got to have the best people leading those universities. And in the global market, by the way, our vice-chancellors get paid a fraction. They get paid a fraction, for example, of what American vice-chancellor, equivalent vice-chancellor in America, even Australia, they get paid much higher than we. So we've got to attract the best talent for our students.
In a moment. Thank you, Karen. I'm going to counter that, but Carol.
OK, so you say, you say it's justifiable. If it was so justifiable,
in the backup,
why have they tried to keep it a secret? Because the point is they did try to keep it a secret. The information that was released...
What a secret?
Their salaries.
Their salaries.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
transparent.
Well, let me finish. The information that was released in the dispatches programme had to be got through a series of freedom of information requests, which finally got through. Now, what I hadn't realised, Nick, and I don't know whether you had...
But what's wrong with that?
Well, sorry? Keeping it secret?
They're not public servants.
Doesn't matter. They're being paid.
No, I think it should be transparent.
Can I just finish my point? What I hadn't realised was that the remuneration committees that decide the pay and perks of these vice-chancellors, I thought they were totally independent. Well, they're not totally independent because a lot of these vice-chancellors sit on those committees. 45% of them are members of those committees. So you're sitting in a committee that's talking about your pay. What do you say? Do you just tell them what you want and they pass it?
No, and to this point, a lot of them, they're not on the committee. It should be completely independently decided by the council of the university, by a remuneration committee. And I know from personal experience, they are very happy to pay whatever the vice-chancellor will be paid because they think it's excellent value for the university.
Everybody's looking at me at once. I'm going to go to June. Sorry, my G.
That's okay.
Well, first of all, Nick, I trust you to be elitist again when it comes to this. Because it's funny how you're totally happy with Oxford and Cambridge to get the money,
because of their global position.
To it. The point is, you need the best people. And the university... Well, let me finish. A university vice-chancellor's role is a very unique role. You need a very broad skill set. You need to be able to fundraise. You need to understand education. You're effectively a business person and an academic. So you can't expect them not to get what they deserve, what they would get in the corporate sector.
In some instances, they're bottom...
Way less than.
bottom of the table and they're making 200 grand a year.
That's not the point.
The best people.
But
What would the worst be
but
like?
how many students are at that university? That's still a big infrastructure to oversee.
That's not doing very well.
Well, I was astounded when I saw that you were going to discuss this topic, because I thought, hang on a minute, Nick Ferrari's gone all left-wing, arguing for pay caps. And these aren't even public servants, right? And one thing we know is, at the end of the day, right, what we know is that, as you've said, Karen, in America, they're on millions. Millions of dollars.
I'm not too worried about them.
Millions of
My
dollars.
kids aren't paying those fees.
Our vice-chancellors will go elsewhere.
Well, the vice-chancellor of Oxford went... Andrew Hamilton, who was a Cambridge person, became vice-chancellor of Oxford, is now heading New York University. NYU. Earning much more.
10 times more.
Let's get Maggie. Maggie didn't quite finish.
I have a question, but before the question for you, I'm going all radio on you, Nick, right? But before the question, we're going to hear what the Vice-Chancellor of Sheffield Hallam University, Professor Chris Husbands, had to say for himself.
OK.
I applied for a job, I was offered the salary, I've never tried to negotiate it up, I've never accepted either in this job or my last head of institution job a bonus. I think I'm paid to do a good job, and if I do a good job, I'm doing my job properly. I don't have any housing perks, and it's really important to me that I can look my students in the eye and my staff in the eye, and I think on that basis I can.
Now, Nick, I'm assuming you don't believe in caps on pay,
no,
right? Because you're not
absolutely not. No, pay on performance.
Yes. Now, so if you applied for that job, here's my question: if you applied for,
So I'm staggered. June gets paid.
so Professor Husbands,
we paid more than you.
If you applied, Professor Husbands, when applying for that job, said he did not negotiate it up, right?
Right.
So if you were him and you applied for that job and you were offered £350,000 a year,
yes,
what would you do?
Well, I'm not in that field, but I'd probably take it. But it's not quite the point.
We are.
I want to bring. Karen in a minute. I want to get Karen in. Now, Karen, among many of your international businessman, right, famous Cambridge debater, Mr. Universe 1965, among your many job titles, you're also in education in a way. You're Chancellor of which university?
University of Birmingham.
And how much do you pay your Vice-Chancellor?
He's paid
£426,000.
And you're ranked 18th in the country.
That's not bad.
No,
That's quite a lot of
just let's put
universities.
this in perspective. That has been, the Council of the University has approved that unanimously. In fact, they gave him a resounding applause and thanked him for what he's doing for the university. Why? The university is a Russell Group university.
Indeed.
It's ranked one of the top 15 in the country. It's ranked one of the top 100 in the world. It's consistently done incredibly well. It's financially doing very well.
Carol,
it's investing hundreds of £millions of infrastructure for the benefit of the students. He's doing a great job as a leader. And the impact in the local community.
What's the excuse for these
billions
guys
of pounds being put back into the economy.
Let Karen finish. Carol.
If we're putting billions of pounds back into the economy, and it's thanks to a good leader, any good institution has a good leader, I am very grateful to what he's doing.
Why is someone who was on 350 grand a year already, or 450 grand a year in many of the cases, why are these people on expenses where they're claiming stuff like Easter eggs, like scented candles, like silver salvers, like hampers from Fortnum?
Not Professor Sir David Eastwood, we need to say.
They're doing all of this. Can I finish? They're doing all of this. Yes, exactly. Whatever the heck. Whatever the hell that is. All of this.
Not the way I do it, it's not.
It's a cocktail.
All of this on the backs
Can
of
I explain why?
No, can I just finish? All of this on the backs of hard-pressed students. They're using huge chunks of student fees to fund this. They also get free houses, Karen. Most of their houses, they're living in houses, £1 million, £1.5 million. They get those rent-free as well.
Let's hear from Karen.
So, whatever the facilities you provide a top-quality Vice-Chancellor, as long as they are appropriate to the job that he's doing,
is it appropriate?
He or she is successful.
Is
in our
appropriate?
case, in our case, he's very successful, and I think he deserves everything that he gets. And he's doing a brilliant job leading a university to the benefit of our students, to the benefit of Birmingham, and to the benit of the country.
I don't need to read out the statement. He's done far better than the statement. You've done it much better, I'd say.
I'd say paying £12 or £15 for a porn martini, which is a cocktail, by the way, folks. A cocktail for a pledge of £1 million donation to university is an investment worth.